So I want to start with something related to autonomous robots. I mean, autonomous humanoid robots. So I think for the past 1 or 2 years, they have been in the public eye for an extended period. Like people are trying to market this thing, becoming mainstream. But despite all the demos that we have seen, the truth is that there's still a bit of time before it becomes mainstream in terms of its capabilities and functionalities, particularly in terms of interacting in an open environment, in everyday environment. Maybe they're getting close in terms of in very controlled environments like the Figure 3 or maybe the Figure 2 robots that we saw. They are like separating packages and so on. So maybe it's happening at a controlled environment, but definitely when it comes to uh, a open environment, there is some time still there. And the main reason is that behind all of this, at the end of the day, these are all machine learning algorithms. And what's the one thing that machine learning algorithms require? It's data. They require lots and lots of training data. And the reason is, I mean, and the truth is that there aren't enough specific training data with regards to how humanoid robots should behave. And so the important part is to create data. I think I might have talked about this earlier. I think even you have talked, and you have talked about certain topics about humanoid robots, the evolution of robots, and I might have added those things. Like there are different approaches to creating data and training them. One of them was simulating in a virtual environment and training the robots in those virtual environments and something like that. And the other one is to collect data from human movements. Like there is a camera that records human movements and they collect data through that part. So I want to show one video that I just found a few hours ago. Even it was published a few hours ago. So it's happening in India. So I want to go through this video and let's see what's it says. Which reminded me of that. Even I think a few days ago, I saw a similar post on X as well, where Indian workers were recording videos, recording such kind of data. So let's see what this says.
You must be wondering what is happening here. Some person is chopping vegetables, the other person is folding clothes, and that person is possibly assembling some phones, and all of them have these phones strapped onto their forehead. And these phones are recording everything that they do, every hand movement, every action, and every task. Now, the question is, why are they doing this? Is it some weird new trend or are they just vlogging? And the answer is no, it's none of those. They're actually getting paid for this. Actually, the whole thing is way more serious and way more scary than it sounds. Let me explain. So, a couple of days ago, I came across this video where this woman is recording her everyday routines like cleaning photo frames, folding clothes, and even watering plants. There's another video of Indian factory people recording everything that they are working on. And just like these two videos, there are countless other examples. And in some cases, they're not just recording, they're performing these activities with the help of these special attachments, which looks exactly like robotic claws. Now, they're not just recording these videos, they're in fact uploading these videos to these data collection apps, which then sell this data to some of the biggest AI companies in the world. Some of these apps pay 200 rupees an hour, which in India is a big amount. So a lot of people are happily doing it. But what they don't understand is how priceless this data is. I mean, for theoretical information, there's already so much data out there. But for practical skills, which involves fine motor skills, first-person videos are the only way to train the robots. In fact, these videos are so important that this type of first person recording even has a name in the industry, and it's called the egocentric data. At the moment, egocentric data is in such high demand that some of the biggest companies will purchase hundreds and millions of hours from third-party suppliers for the next few years. And the founder of one of the data collection apps even said this: "I want every person on the planet to be recording themselves doing the dishes so that we don't have to do the dishes ever again." Honestly, all of this was so overwhelming that I went ahead and installed one of the apps. It's called Cled, and inside the app, I found something even more scary. First of all, the app says get paid for your data, and inside you get all of these special tasks that you can do to earn money. And some of the things are so strange that you haven't even thought about recording them, like taking out the trash, capturing your haircut, documenting your routine, and even your dashcam footage. I mean, who thought that recording these will get you paid? By the way, there are also some medium and high paying jobs like uploading your radiology reports, medical forms, walking on the street, or even shifting some stuff from one place to another. Now, if you look closely, every task in the app hints at one thing: how can we make robots do everything that humans do, and eventually just replace humans with robots? And looking at the user base of these data collection apps, I don't think it's going to take very long. Like, seriously, Cled alone receives 3 million uploads every single day, and there are more than 200,000 contributors. Another app called Dual AI has more than 6 lakh contributors from over 96 countries. And a company called Objectways have their own studio to record these videos in a more controlled environment. And just like these, there are plenty of other data collection apps with huge user base. With so many companies, just imagine how much data is being sent to AI every single second. So in short, here's what's happening. People who are uploading all of this data will be the first ones to get replaced by AI. Right now, they're uploading to earn some extra money. But once these robotic companies have enough data, all of these people will probably be out of their jobs. Just think about it. Humanoids replacing house helps, robotic arms replacing factory workers, delivery robots replacing delivery boys, and warehouse robots replacing people in logistics. All of this will have a huge impact that I don't think we are ready for. At the end of the day, one thing is very clear. AI is not just replacing high-paying white-collar jobs, it's also coming for the blue-collar jobs. And this time, it's not happening in the background. It's right in front of us, and we are the ones making it happen. And with AI learning much faster than us, I think we are all doomed. Anyway, we are all just serving a notice period. So yeah, that's it for this one. I really hope this video made you think. If it did, please press that like button. It really means a lot. It really does. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
And I'm sure this video script was also written by AI, but he delivered it very well. That's the difference. Anyways, so before I continue, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I think you started by saying like we are seeing lots and lots of humanoid robotic demos and stuff in the public nowadays. I think it is mostly China that is where this demo is, or this uh, glorif means the spread of the humanoid robotics is mostly in China and maybe in the US as well. So I don't know how much it has spread to other countries. But yeah, so and also I also saw this before where they're like basically everyone has become data now. Our pattern of consumption used to be the data that companies used to take. Now everything we do is data for them, and people are like willingly giving it. One point, so the I don't know, one of the founders, he mentioned like he wants everyone to record themselves washing dishes so that no one has to ever wash dishes again. Uh, so I think like he willingly, or maybe like it was uh, deliberately, he used the example of dishwashing so that it seems like you're just removing only things that people are like bothered to not to do, but you're taking data for everything else. So it's not that you will just or robots will be able to do just the dishwashing part. It'll be able to do everything else, similar to what happened with the AI, the LLMs. So you took every kind of data, and it's not that it is only able to automate just the boring stuff. It is also automating or replacing a lot of the things people found interesting, the thinking part as well to some extent. So yeah, so other than that, I don't have anything else.
Yes, I would say that first of all, whenever certain questions are asked to these CEOs and even startup founders, the the way they reply to it, it's from my point of view at this point, it has become irrelevant to take their word for word value, like their face value. Again, I think I have mentioned, I think very recently that when it comes to business and finance, whatever they say, it is never the literal meaning.
Yeah,
And
it's not just their opinion, it is serving the interests of the company. So their words are very selective.
yes, and one area I forgot to mention was that I talked about business and everything, but the origin of everything is politics. I forgot to mention that thing. That of course, uh, if when you listen to those kind of people, they are the masters, and I think they are the originators of this technique. But yes, just as a side note. But to this point about data, first of all, one of the reasons why people are doing this is first of all, they have no idea about the broader context of what's going to happen. Well, first thing is that they're getting paid for to do this, and they're happy enough. Most people are happy enough that okay, I'm getting 200 rupees per hour or whatever per hour. They're happy with this one, and it will be very late when they realize this about what's the broader consequence of this. And the second thing about you again, as you mentioned about the use cases, like it's not just the boring. When it came to LLM, it was not just the boring thing; it was also the interesting thing as well. Again, to that, I'm again going to say that it's the same thing. Like you have to think again the way we think about natural world when it comes to physics, biology, chemistry. There are laws. We study laws, we study certain properties, and we analyze them. We don't listen to we don't just listen to some chemistry professor and say that okay, uh, the professor said that that's why it's happening. No, it's the law we trust. We will give more priority to the laws and theorems of these topics instead of what a teacher says. The same should apply to business and politics and these areas. It doesn't matter what they say because at the end of the day, it makes business sense to replace humans with robots and machines. And it will happen, whatever they say. But what is going to happen is that as experts of marketing, they will uh, use a very persuasive way to introduce this kind of topics. Instead of saying that we are going to take away your jobs and those kind of things, they will never present it in that format. And that's their real expertise, is to introduce poison as something so tasty and something like that. So that's their main skill. So that's eventually going to happen. Like there will be humans will be ultimately replaced with this kind of things.
But yeah, that also seems likely. But also, I keep nowadays keep seeing some headlines like that say that the cost of AI inference or the token use itself is almost as equal to having a human employee. So initially, companies would have some budget, and they quickly realized that the token use was so high that they already used up most of their AI budget way before the time. So that aspect also, I'm not sure how it is going to pan out, if because even even at this price alone, the AI companies are not profitable. So either the prices are not going to go down. So I
Yes,
don't see how, if that is actually true that the token users and inference costs and everything is adding up to become almost the same as having the human employees or do the same work. It may not reach a point where it completely replaces them, but yeah, I'm not sure how open source is also going to play a part in this scenario. So we have open source LLM models. Will we also have open source uh, what is called world models as well? So anyone can have access to a world model running locally. Those kind of aspects also we are not sure.
yes. But most likely there might be open source equivalents to these as well. But again, this will also be inferior, I think so, compared to the closed source ones, most likely. I mean,
But
at
I
least,
feel the difference between LLM or the gen text-based LLMs is that they are also doing reasoning. I mean, a world model also will have to do reasoning in terms of the physical space, but I don't know. To me, it seems maybe that is what the difference between robot and a human. To me, like doing the physical work, it's like you don't even have to think about it. But doing all the logical reasoning thing that the AI can do it very easily, or
yes.
seems to be able to do very easily, is the one that is challenging for us.
Mhm.
But the gap between a bad world model and a good world model may not be that high when you compare it to like text-based LLMs. But I don't have any statistics or any points, but I feel that is how it's going to be.
What did you mean when you say the difference? Means the
Meaning, if you take a
consequence.
very good
Yes.
like fable or the mythos, they are like I've never used it, but
Okay.
that is how they're marketing it as being one of the really good AI models, and you compare it to whatever maybe a previous version of any of the older LLMs, the difference in their output, how they understand prompt and how they solve problems is quite large, or will be quite large. So I don't know if that kind of difference you will see in a world model that is the frontier top tier world model versus a low powered or lower capacity world model, because the activities they have to do is the physical space itself. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like for example, dishwashing. Like how many variables can be there in dishwashing? So how well
Yes.
a top frontier model can do the dishwashing will also be able to be done by relatively low powered or lower capacity or low tier world model as well. That is what I feel. I don't have any evidence for that.
I think you are correct in that point. Like if you think about a very specific task being done at one specific point, I think that could be done by, I think, yes, as you said, like that the difference won't be very high, which I think is very this scenario is very similar to a factory scenario. Like you are doing something very specific and in a very controlled environment. I think the main difference comes in when you are in an uncontrolled environment. Like when we walk around our house, walk in a public area, and we have to do so many different things. So like, should I cross the road before this car comes, or that should I let it go or do something else? Now, because this thing depends on person to person. Some persons are very used to it. They'll just, I see when I cross the road, I have to like check, like I'm 100% sure that this car is not going to hit me. I'll see, okay, the distance is far enough. Only then I'll cross. But other people, I say they're on the phone, they'll take their chance. Like they will zigzag through all these people. So they can compute probably faster than me. So this kind of dynamic environment where the decision making is whether they can do this or not. I think that the real difference will be in this kind of dynamic, uncontrolled environments where this will come. For specific tasks, I think it will be
Yeah.
quite easy.
And probably there will also be like benchmarks like we have for the LLMs in different scenarios, like the software benchmarks and stuff.
Yes,
So, but yeah, maybe in I think in those kind of benchmarks as well, the difference might not be that big between the world, but yeah, I will have to see.
yes. And yes, another point I want to mention about the practical capabilities of AI is how much are people genuinely and how much how capable are they genuinely? Because sometimes the consensus is such that when you go through all this media and news that they're so intelligent and so on, that you lose confidence in your own first-hand experience. Because in a lot of cases, when I use them, the kind of outputs they give is so below what I expect them to give. And on the other hand, I see in the news and everywhere that things are getting automated, agents everywhere, AI agents everywhere. Then I think, how is it just me? Am I hallucinating? What's happening here? But but I prefer to go with my own experience, and I say that I don't know. Like I'm at this point skeptical about how agents are doing things because it's one thing to do with AI chatbots because you are going doing multiple rounds. Like you give a prompt, it gives an output, you read it and do not like it, and then you give further suggestions for changes, and then you do it again and again. But on the other hand, AI agents are doing it on its own, and God knows how many errors might have made in that multiple rounds of things. So I'm concerned about those things. But then again, I'm talking about my use cases. First of all, I don't know how good it does in terms of like professional level coding because I do not do that. Just some, but when it comes to researching things, mostly I do it for researching and and writing. In researching things, getting information accurately is very, very important because the whole analysis and commentary depends upon those initial research and the data that is collected. If that is wrong, the everything else is wrong. And when I do those kind of initial research and data collection, both subjective data and numerical data, I find lots and lots of errors. I think I even maintain a sheet because I think in some ways I'm procrastinating, but I'm planning to create a video about video series titled something like the mistakes or the logical inconsistencies of AI chatbots because there are so many logical inconsistencies out there. I think there is one today itself. I think I might be able to share that one. Okay. Can you see this notebook, Alan?
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere around here. Okay, this is some kind of called like a valuation model for a company. Like most research analysts, like th those who are researching companies, they do this. So I'm doing this. So the details are not important here. So I made him to collect to do this thing. Like based on the selected sources, I selected certain sources here, and I told him calculate this so and so the growth rate and so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So it did certain things, but it also made certain mistakes. Let me find where it made. Yes, these two numbers, can you see, are the same,
Mm.
but they are from two different financial years. This is from financial year 2023, this is from FY24. They should have been different. And later on, when I fact checked this thing and I asked it somewhere down here, why is it not here? I said this one, that DNA for FY23 and FY24 are the same. One of them has to be different. This is one of the errors, and there are other errors as well. So I
Mm.
pointed out these errors. So then he said, like, based on a thorough verification of the cons this, I have corrected the errors. This. So if you look at here, this is the error. It was different here. Now it is corrected this one. So you can look at this one, and you can see there was this gap of. I asked a few other questions. That's because initially I assumed that to be correct one, and I continued with the further research. But then I also did it manually on Excel by looking at the statements, manually copy paste and so forth. Then I found some discrepancies, and then I saw that you made some errors here, and then I asked it. But this was only possible because there was a human oversight, this kind of things.
Mm.
But if I had given this to an AI agent where there is no like back and forth interaction, it will do 100 different tasks before it gives me a final output. And God knows in how many steps it will make some errors, which will add up, and cumulatively the end result will be so much different. And it will be such a headache to find out which errors are there. Where did you make the error? So this is just one example. There are countless others. I mean, a lot of others that I've collected. So these are the kind of things that I am concerned about, like people who are automating things, what's going to happen? That's, yeah, that's one thing. And that's from the like practical, productive business side of things. The human side of things is, I think, even worse, like what it's doing to people's thinking capacities. Like the people won't even double check things. No, they will just, their capability to analyze and read from a critical point of view will eventually disappear. And and now this is one of my predictions for the future now. I may be wrong, but there will be a new category of diseases that will come up. In the same way, because of industrialization, we physically don't have to do anything to survive. So as a result, we have so many lifestyle diseases, like physical lifestyle diseases, like high blood pressure and so on, the high cholesterol and countless other things, which you won't practically find in people living in, maybe these days it's happening in villages as well, but up until very recently, and certainly not in those nomadic communities that live in, they that still live in very prehistoric ways. You won't find those things. So I think similarly, whatever happened in to our physical bodies is going to happen to our intellectual part is as well. And maybe in the next 10, 20, 30 years, a new generation of disorders will arrive. So that is that now that is from an individual perspective. And finally, I think one more thing that I could say is from a social perspective, this kind of things. I think, have you seen the movie Elysium?
The one where they stay in some kind of ring, right, outside of Earth.
Yes, yes, also about. So I think eventually that might also, again, this is by no means a certainty, but it's definitely a possibility that because of this class divide, it might be that the people who are below a certain threshold of in the socioeconomic status will permanently remain there, and the others will permanently be in a different place. So it might not be in a ring in space, but maybe within Earth itself there would be a permanent separation. I think people have also termed this something called the permanent underclass. I don't know if you've heard of it or not.
Yeah.
So it is something like that. Something like that might happen. Let me just ask Perplexity to briefly describe. It refers to people who are not just struggling temporarily, but are trapped in conditions that are hard to escape. Okay.
Mhm.
I think the YouTuber David Shapiro, I think I heard it from him first, most likely. Anyways, I got the idea about what class. So there are a lot of people who have talked about this. So that's the basic idea.
Mhm.
Let's see some short videos.
Permanent underclass, a necessity for American capitalism.
It didn't used to be. I mean, there used to be a lot of rotation.
Well, we were able to change that, weren't
And
we?
that's part of the reason that Americans were tolerating such high levels of inequality and such high levels of persistent inequality was the idea, okay, fine, we're okay with a few rich people as long as everybody has their shot at making it. But over the last few decades, it's become really clear that economic opportunity in this country is highly concentrated. I mean, where the stork drops you in the United States matters.
Is a permanent underclass a necessity for American capitalism?
Let's put this on as well.
I don't think that normal people understand that Silicon Valley tech bros are genuinely doing everything to prepare for a mass unemployment event caused by artificial general intelligence. In their minds, half the population is about to be trapped in a permanent underclass where it's impossible to escape poverty, while the people who do succeed will be high agency individuals able to adapt to new circumstances. This is dramatically affecting both Silicon Valley culture and the media you end up consuming because a lot of these tech bros are optimizing their agency by going viral at everybody else's expense. For example, this article did a great job of unpacking how those bullshit startup companies like Cluely got most of their valuations simply because their founders are willing to post recklessly online and are therefore considered high agency enough to invest in. The guiding tech philosophy right now is that this is kind of a gold rush and that you should just do things no matter the cost because that's the only way to become part of the permanent overclass. Of course, this comes out of a flawed deterministic philosophy which presupposes that AGI is imminent and that it will replace literally everything. And while we absolutely will see economic shifts coming up, that kind of thinking both on what intelligence is and how much the average person dislikes AI. Nevertheless, there's now an additional incentive to manipulate our technology and communication in a way that harms other people because nothing else matters if you're rushing to avoid NPC behavior. I don't think that normal people understand that Silicon Valley tech bros.
Yes, so again, as he has mentioned, one of the uh, required prerequisite condition for this to happen is how smart AI actually is. And as I've just mentioned, this kind of errors to you about how simple numerical errors it has made, AI has made. But on the other hand, we also see all of these videos about this AI is solving 100-year-old math problems that many mathematicians and scientists were unable to solve. and so on and so forth, these kind of things. Which makes me think that I think one or this could be simultaneously true or may not be true. One is that prompting is a very important skill here. And I see on social media like they're making fun of those things. Like uh, there are certain posts that say, remember when you say prompt engineer as a separate joke, or what a joke, certain kind of post. But the truth is, it's true that there may not be a separate job as a prompt engineer, but prompting as a skill has to be very important. Otherwise, you have a tool, but you can't use it. In the same way, like in today's world, if you are working in any office, like basic necessity is that you need to know how to work with Excel, Word, and the Google equivalent of those kind of things. Like there isn't a dedicated job like Excel filler or those kind of things. Like your job, you should know basic things about Excel. So same way, there won't be a like a specific prompt engineer, but you should know how to do this. So I think from my point of view, that's one of the important thing to be able to get the most out of AI. And the second thing is that there might be tiers to those AI. The one even within the pro versions or the closed versions one, the ones that we general people get to use through the chatbots, and the ones that these people use for to solve those problems and to show those demos might actually be different. And right now, again, it might seem like a conspiracy theory. And my counter argument is that it already is there. Like again, because we can definitely choose different models. Like for example, within Perplexity, I can choose ChatGPT versus thinking mode and not thinking mode. So I can still within this itself I can get this. And if I get the max version, I can get ChatGPT 5.5.
Mhm.
So if you get in it same goes for Claude. I can use Claude, and if I want more power, I can use this. And if I want even more power, I can get Opus 4.8 Max. Now, why should I believe that Claude for Opus 4.8 Max is the most highest tier? Maybe they have something even more powerful. I think they actually have Mythos is powerful. But the same applies for any other models. Like they might have certain models that are so powerful that they themselves use to solve those kind of advanced problems, and they use it to show that yes, this is how intelligent AI is. And maybe it is that intelligent, but it is also reserved for a very small group of people, not everyone. I think which actually reminded me of one video. This is a very long video. I'm not going to go
in
through it.
novel ways that
The whole point of this video is this one. Like OpenAI, they swept a long-standing conjecture by this mathematician named Paul Erdos on this thing. So to verify it took a team of Excel mathematicians a week. So you can see that on the one hand, they are solving this kind of complex mathematical problems that took a team of professional mathematicians 1 week to verify that yes, it is correct. On the other hand, it is making mistakes that the one that I just showed. You couldn't even get the numbers right. So are the same models doing those things? Or maybe this was being done by a very superior, very specific model.
Yeah, to me, I think like it has to be a better model, plus the person prompting also has to have the knowledge of what to prompt and how to prompt.
Yes.
Like if you're solving this kind of, I like if someone gives me even the exact problem statement, I probably won't be able to, and the same model also, the highest tier model, I probably won't be able to get the output because I will not be able to understand the response it gives and next what to ask. So I think the domain knowledge is definitely required, especially for this kind of specific use cases.
Yes. So So yeah, for me, the takeaway is that uh, AI might get very capable and so on, but as a human, the only way to be relevant is to make yourself very knowledgeable, to at least to even comprehend what's going on, to be able to use this thing. Otherwise, you won't be able to even use this thing. So that's the thing. Like, that's the point that you just said. Like, even if because I do not have advanced knowledge in mathematics and so on. So even if you give me the best model, I won't be able to get anything out of it because I'm simply not knowledgeable enough to get out of it. So that applies for every domain, I think so.
Also, I think we have to see it like how we see the point of exercising. Like, there's no, if we were living in a time where we had to do physical work, we had to walk from multiple places, we had to do physical, say, labor throughout the day. There is no need to go take 1 hour from your day and go to the gym, pick up weights, run. You're doing it naturally. But since we do not have that lifestyle now, it's we have to deliberately make the choice of going to a certain location, make sure our muscles are used, make sure our heart is tired, and like the cardiovascular is okay. So
Yes.
similarly, like, forget about like the top tier models, even for the lower tier models, and for so many simple tasks, like suppose you have to write a mail to someone. Initially, you had to stop and think if it is somewhat of a technical or some abstract kind of mail. You have to think about what to say, how to present the information and stuff. So that also required thinking.
Yes.
And you are consolidating your information. You are putting different points and topics together in your head. You are writing a that requires processing. Now, if you give some broken knowledge, broken points here and there, the AI can do the email in a second, and you have sent the mail. So, and that brings in efficiency. Yes, you can do that job faster, but you should also remember that maybe try to, as you do exercise, try to challenge your mind or continue to do it without the AI as well.
Yes.
So that part of your intellect is there.
Yes. Again, this has to be the initiative has to be done by the human by the person in itself.
Yeah.
And as I've said, if it's most likely that most people you won't put in the effort, and as a result, a new class of diseases and disorders will eventually come out, which I can't even define how it might look like. I might have to think and go through it and find how it actually works. I mean, how those kind of things might happen. Which reminded me of talking about errors. I was using AI to create a sci-fi story. Like I'm working on some short sci-fi stories. So I created a scenario and gave it like, okay, based on this characters and scenario, create a opening scenario, like opening part of the story. And it created a story that made no sense. Like it had no sense. The characters are randomly doing things. Then I gave my example. And then he started praising me, like, okay, that's a great opening and so on.
Hmm.
Because there has to be a logic to it, to that story. I won't go you'd understand it better if I show you those things, but I won't do it today, maybe next time. Because it's about to be 10:30 and I have a football, like I have to watch football match. So not today, but next time I might show you the logic, like the difference between the story that the AI made and the story that I wrote, the opening part. And you'll see that the difference in the logic, it's not there. So, uh, okay, we should be concluding this. And
Mhm.
since I'm going to talk about watch football, so let me just briefly talk about football as well as a conclusion. So, as you might know that the World Cup is underway, it's going on. So what happened was that right now Portugal, it's Portugal's match, so Ronaldo is playing. So I'll just tell you a brief story about what's happening here. So this is the second round of matches. So every team has played once. Now they're playing the second time. So when they're playing the first time, the four main, like in terms of goal scoring, the four main players, Mbappe, Haaland, Messi, and Ronaldo, they were playing almost sequentially one after another. So I think last Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was last Tuesday, exactly 1 week ago. It started with Mbappe. He scored 2 goals. Then came Haaland. Again, he scored 2 goals. Then came Messi. He's almost 39 years old. He scored a hat-trick, 3 goals. And it was his first hat-trick, which he scored exactly 20 years after he scored, since he scored his first ever goal in the World Cup back in
So
2006.
first hat trick in like in World
In the
World Cup
World
or
Cup. Yes, in the
yeah.
World Cup. I think in terms of hat-tricks, Messi and Ronaldo has like way over the rest of the others. But that was his first World Cup hat-trick. So now the next day it was Ronaldo's turn. All of these big players have done, but Ronaldo did not do anything well. So people started criticizing like, yeah, he's just 41 years old, too old to do those kind of things. Again, now that's as in the second round of matches yesterday, Mbappe played. Again, Mbappe scored 2 goals. Haaland scored 2 goals. Messi scored 2 goals. So they are now up to 4 to 5 goals now. Again, now it's Ronaldo's turn today. So I think he has some pressure on scoring something.
I read
And
some statistics somewhere. I don't know if it is true or not, but saw that like in the last 8 or 10 national matches for Portugal, Ronaldo has not scored any goals.
maybe
Is
it
that
could be
correct?
true. Could be. I have not seen it, but it could be true that he might not have scored. Actually, the last time he played was on October or November of last year, 2025. And he got a red card because of which he was banned for 3 matches or so. So he didn't play any games up until June. Before the World Cup, there were some like warm-up matches, friendly matches. He again played. So for 6 to 7 months, 6 to 8 months, he didn't play for Portugal at all. So if they also include those matches, then it might be 8 or 10 matches Ronaldo might not have scored. But let's see what he does. But at the same time, he is like 41 years old. So at this point, I think he is the second oldest player at the World Cup currently, if I'm not wrong.
Usually the older
And
players are like goalkeepers, no?
yes, again, like even in the top 10 oldest players, I think only three of them are outfield players. The rest are all goalkeepers. Like Manuel Neuer is there. He is 40 years old. Even actually, he retired in 2024, but he had to come back again. Uh, like because there are no other good goalkeepers in Germany, so they had to come back. He has to come back again. So that way. So I think in terms of outfield players, Ronaldo is 41. Then there's Luka Modric who is 40, and then there's Messi 39. These are the only old players in terms of outfield players. The rest are all goalkeepers. So that's the brief story about World Cup and Ronaldo's situation.
Mm.
So I think we can end
Yeah.
here.